Westfield Memorial Hospital provides high-quality health care to residents of Western New York, offering patients the most sophisticated medical advancements while keeping the ease and familiarity of a community hospital. Support for Chautauqua Sunrise has been provided by WRFA 107.9 FM, Jamestown's public radio station, streaming online 24/7 at WRFALP.com. Low power to the people. Chautauqua Sunrise is made possible by a grant from Fredonia Place, a continuing care retirement community providing dignity in a modern luxury environment. Meter's Restaurant, a family tradition for over 50 years in downtown Ripley, is a proud supporter of Chautauqua Sunrise. Meter's provides all-day dining, banquet services, and custom catering, specializing in pie. Funding for Chautauqua Sunrise is provided in part by the Chautauqua County Industrial Development Agency, with offices in Jamestown, Dunkirk, and Westfield, helping businesses to prosper throughout Chautauqua County.
The Chautauqua Center.
Are you looking for affordable medical, dental, or counseling services? The Chautauqua Center is always accepting new patients at their Jamestown and Dunkirk locations. They offer discounted prescriptions and accept all insurances. From the Access Chautauqua Studios in Mayville, it's Chautauqua Sunrise. Chautauqua Sunrise is hosted by Doc Hamels and supported by the award-winning volunteers at Access Chautauqua. We are here to share local news, colorful interviews, and events of interest to everyone. Chautauqua Sunrise is broadcast live Saturday mornings each week from 9 to 10 a.m. Send events via email or call us live. Check us out on YouTube and Facebook. And now, from the Access Chautauqua Studios, it's Chautauqua Sunrise.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Doc Hamels, and hoping you are recovering well from eating lots of Thanksgiving turkey and stuffing and all those beautiful pies that maybe you had at your Thanksgiving get-together. Hope you're staying safe and dealing with this pandemic. I know it's making everybody a little bit crazy, trying to figure out what are the rules and how we're supposed to stay safe and how we're supposed to go shopping and all that sort of thing. But we'll get through it, I'm sure. Well, I want to say good morning, of course, to everyone that's watching right now. And I also want to say hello to all those that are watching from around the world, really. We're streaming live, and glad you could join us, whether it's morning, afternoon, or evening, somewhere in the world. I want to say good afternoon to all my listeners on WRFA 107.9, low power to the people. So glad you could tune in. Folks, we have a show today that's really a little different than we usually do. This one, I think, is going to really grab your attention because it's one of those shows that we're going to talk about. I think there's something for everybody in it. You know, sometimes we talk about a particular subject that might be hitting just one sector of the community, but this one I think you're going to find really interesting, and I can't wait to interview my guest. She's very excited to be here. All right, so stay tuned for that. Let's see. Justin, you're not going to believe this. I don't know if you've ever seen this individual. He's been on TV for a while, and I found out he just had a birthday the other day. On Wednesday, Woody Woodpecker turned 80 years old. Did you know that? We used to like run to the TV when we would hear certain music or certain sounds, and he always had his theme music. So Woody Woodpecker, 80 years old. Seems hard to believe. Okay, let's see. I want to remind you that this is a live call-in show. And if you want to give us a holler, give us a call at 716-753-5225. If you want to ask a question, you make a comment. If you have an organization that has a special event that you want us to talk about and share with the rest of the world, happy to do it free of charge. Just give us a call. Randy will take your call, and then they either pipe it through my earpiece or they'll write it down, or you can talk to us live. Lots of times you watch Linda Spalding call in from the Office for their Aging Services. It's real easy, and so glad to hear from you if you do. Okay, and then of course you can always text us, Twitter us, email us, go to Facebook, find us on YouTube forever and ever. So we're always around some way, shape, or form. Okay, so the weather is getting a little goofy here. I don't think I put any of my clothes away last year. I have my winter clothes, my summer clothes, the spring clothes. We just keep swapping them in and out the last couple of days. And then tomorrow, I guess it's supposed to be spring again, or late fall. I'm not sure what we call it. Jeff will say it's Indian summer. Anyways, it's hard to believe that December is around the corner. How did we get here already? Wow. Okay, so I have some announcements to make, and then we're going to get to my guest who's really excited on the sidelines here. The energy level is growing. I can feel it. It's going to blow up. Okay, this is from our friends at Infinity. They're telling us a little bit about the Pearl City Clay House. Okay, and this is kind of interesting. It's for adults. The Pearl City Clay House, as the name suggests, will be a place to play with clay. But it will be so much more than that. It'll be an arts community for everyone from the novice crafter to the artist with years of experience under their belt. Taking a class at Pearl City Clay House will also provide support for our community's creative youth. A percentage of all of the Pearl City Clay House classes will go to support music and arts programming at the Infinity Visual and Performing Arts. Now, if you're not familiar with the Infinity program for kids, it just gets kids involved with all levels of music and art and theater and drama and photography and you name it. Anything that's creative, they're doing it over there. But this is for adults. This program, according to Deb Eck, who's the director, she says, of course, I'm disappointed that we can't open physical doors to the community yet, but while we wait, we have put together a series of virtual experiences for artists and crafters of all skill levels. If you're longing for community, most of us have been holed up in our houses for the last 8 months and want to learn a new stress-busting technique as we approach the busy holiday season, why not try a blackout meditation class? I promise no pressure and no skills are necessary. Or you can start on that homemade holiday with our 12 Days of Christmas Ornaments event. That sounds like fun. The series of short workshops offered over 12 days in December, beginning December 4th, so that's coming up this week, will include budget-friendly $5 workshops that use easily accessible, low-cost materials to craft keepsakes you'll be proud of to display in your home this holiday season, along with skill-building workshops in floral arrangements, felting, and quilling, taught by guest artists Michelle Bengo, Debbie Penley, or Michelle Starwalt Woods. I'm excited to begin building a thriving community of artists and crafters, and I hope you'll join us. And that's from Deborah Eck, the director. Okay, and if you're interested, give them a call at 664-0991, or you can go to their website, which is Infinity Performing Arts, that's all one word, .org. You know, we mentioned it before, a lot of the ornaments that we have on our trees, at least at our house, were made by our kids, or we made ourselves, or we bought someplace, something special, or somebody made for us, and gosh, they just bring back good memories, or sometimes sad memories too, but good memories. So this could be something that you could create for Christmases to come. Okay, let's go to slide 16, Jeff. Marine Toys for Tots. Okay. Typically, collection boxes are placed in more than 100 businesses throughout the area during the holiday season, so local residents can drop off donations of new or unused toys. Because of the virus, there will not be as many collection boxes this year, so organizers of the Toys for Tots have come up with new ways to collect toys. Okay, today, November 28th, Saturday, so this is the only time this week, a drive-through collection event will be held today at the Chautauqua Mall in Lakewood from 10:30 to 2:30. State and federal virus guidelines will be followed. This marks the 20th straight year the Resource Center is coordinating the Toys for Tots in Chautauqua County. It started in 1947, called the Marine Toys for Tots campaign, and it seeks to deliver a message of hope to less fortunate children throughout the United States by providing them with toys for Christmas. Again, here's that number again that's still shocking to me. Last year, 3,289 children received toys from this program. 3,289 last year. I will be a betting man, and it's going to be a lot more this year. This year, applications must be submitted online at jamestown-ny.toysfortots.org. One more time, jamestown-ny.toysfortots.org. Children age 17 and younger, whose families meets household income guides, are eligible for assistance through the Toys for Tots families. Families may apply for toys until December 13th, so time is now winding down. Agencies, community groups, and school applications will close December 4th, so that's this coming week. Cash donations are always welcome, as the money is used to buy gifts for children in age groups that typically do not receive a lot of toy donations. People can donate via Toys for Tots website, or they can mail a check made payable to Toys for Tots to the Resource Center at 200 Dunham Avenue, Jamestown, New York. Updates on the toy drive can be found by visiting the Chautauqua County, New York Toys for Tots 2020 Facebook page. Okay, so this year I'm seeing a lot of need for food and household products and toys and clothing and gosh, all kinds of stuff. So if you're in the position that you can help, please do. Okay, moving right along. Active parenting classes. Join us for upcoming active parenting classes for teens. This is through Prevention Works. 3 virtual 2-hour sessions via Zoom, video communications. The dates are December 3rd, that's coming up this week, December 10th and the 17th, and the time is 12 noon to 2 p.m. Location, you don't have to go anywhere. Just go to your wherever room where you had a computer, your iPhone or your iPad. It's Zooming. Active Parenting of Teens is a program that addresses our complicated day and age. Parents will receive the confidence and courage to meet the challenges and savor the joys of their children's teen years. Some of the topics covered in this session include teens and technology, the latest in teen drug use prevention, teen bullying, special step-parent considerations, how brain development affects teen behavior and decision-making, improved discipline and communication, updated teen sexuality issues. If you want to sign up for these parenting classes, call 664-3608. Again, 664-3608, and you can talk to Kathleen Colby, or you can email her at kjcolby@preventionworks.us. You know, life is different right now at home. We got kids home. We got kids learning at home because they're on virtual classrooms. They're at home because we're not going anywhere. Their friends aren't necessarily visiting as much. So some of these topics might be of interest to you and help you through some rough moments. Okay, next one here. Small Business Saturday is here. Let me make sure I got the right dates here. Okay, give me a second here. Okay, I guess we're good to go here. In a year filled with uncertainty for small businesses, the Chautauqua County Chamber of Commerce has unveiled a new program aimed directly at helping small, locally owned businesses survive no matter what comes their way next. Sales are the lifeblood of any business. When customers have difficulty getting to a store, they can buy from small, independent businesses online. The Chamber has launched Shop Local CHQ, or Shop Local Chautauqua, a new online marketplace that features a great collection of 250 products and services offered by more than 50 small local businesses right here in Chautauqua County. How cool is that? 250 different products. I'm sure there's something in there just so you can get your dad. I'm sure of it. Okay. I'm on Facebook with these folks, and I saw some of the products, and they look like kind of cool. The platform makes it easy for local consumers to shop local for products and services. This is our community's local response to other online platforms that are taking sales opportunities away from our local economy. You know, when you order something online from other places, you don't realize they're coming from different countries or different parts of our country, but none of that money is staying right here. Okay, it's not like the old days. We have to empower our local businesses and our consumer to fight back against the large online corporations, and that is just what we're doing. This, their words, with Shop Local, Shop Local CHQ. This new marketplace makes it easy and affordable for small businesses to sell online, allows consumers to aggregate their purchases across the marketplace for a convenient shopping experience. Americans are expected to spend more on e-commerce this holiday season than ever before. Adobe Analytics estimates that online sales this November and December will surge 33% year over year. That makes it more important than ever for small businesses to be able to sell online and to reach customers while expanding their customer reach. So, as part of this launch, the Chamber of Commerce is giving away a $500 Chamber gift cards that can be used on the marketplace. Visit the Chautauqua County Chamber of Commerce Facebook page to enter the contest. No purchase is required. So they got these $500 gift cards they're going to give away. I'm there. On this Small Business Saturday, every day of the year, we remind all shoppers to help us keep our local economy top of mind. Okay, so think about that. Let's see. Then I got one more that actually goes right to the heart of the matter here, and we're going to pop up a slide. This is, again, Shop Local CHQ, and this is a little bit more on all that. So if we go to 19, Jeff, the Chautauqua County Chamber of Commerce, say that 10 times fast, is proud to announce this new online marketplace that we just talked about. And it goes on here. A core focus of the Chamber has always been to drive traffic to local businesses, according to Todd Tranum. Now we have another tool to drive sales to our local Chamber members online. Man, what do I got in my throat here? Hang on a second. That time of year. It's especially important at this holiday season as we encourage consumers to shop safe, shop small, shop local. Consumers can shop and support small local businesses either in person, online. It's the best of both worlds for our small businesses and the consumer. A fellow that isn't too far from here, Fred Johnson of Johnson Estate Winery says, this is a tremendous way for the Chamber to support our local businesses at a time when they need help the most. It's no secret that 2020 has been a challenging year for our economy, and small, locally owned businesses have been hit the hardest, and that couldn't be more from the truth. Or it can't be any truer, excuse me. I know a lot of people that are struggling right now with their small businesses, and you know they're just frantic when they might get a notice or a phone call that they're being shut down because of the pandemic and so forth. All right, we're going to take a little break here, and I'll be right back. And this PSA, public service announcement, is for you. Stay tuned.
I'm not trained to do that kind of stuff. I never thought I had it in me. I didn't think I had the time. But then I took the first step. Is there a fire in you? Volunteer at www.fireinYou.com.
Okay, we're back. So today we're going to talk about a small business that's local. I think that this is something that may be of interest to many of you. And I want to welcome to Chautauqua Sunrise, Pat Pihl, who is a memorist. I've been practicing that word all week, a memorist. I've never known somebody that calls themselves a memorist. Did I say that right?
You did. You did. You did. Well, thank you. I appreciate, as you could tell when I walked in, I was very enthusiastic.
Yes, you
Because
were.
I am
You did.
enthusiastic.
You did the whole interview in the first 10 minutes while we were sitting here talking.
Well, I'm passionate about it. Yeah, a memoirist, well, I help people write their memoirs, right? The events of their life. Actually, a memoir can be a portion of your life. That's technically what a memoir is, whereas an autobiography or a biography deals with the entire life.
Wow.
So some people want to do the whole thing, right? They want to talk about their childhood. They want to talk about, throughout the present. But others just want to focus on one part of their lives, right? It might be their military career or, their family life or a little bit of both. So whatever, it's their story to tell. So I leave it up to them.
All right, before we get really deep into that, because I got all kinds of questions and I just want to hear a lot more on this, tell us about yourself a little bit, if you will.
Well, I've been a writer since 5th grade. I've always loved storytelling, and I did go to, I went to school for journalism. I kind of didn't do that initially. I did a lot of things I've always written, but I was in the not-for-profit sector, so it was more business for writing or, grants and things like that.
Right.
But I did start working for a weekly newspaper, and I think that was really my niche because I ran into so many people from all walks of life. So, I always say 1 week I would be interviewing somebody from a deer processing place, and then, and then the next, actually that was quite fun. And then the next week, a CEO from a company, and
That's what I do here. I never
Exactly.
We're all over the place, but different forum.
So you would agree that everyone has a story.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And what did I say to you when you first came in? I said, this show is about you. It's not about me. So this is sort of like your life.
Right, right. So I really enjoyed that, and I just loved. Maybe I'm nosy. I don't know, Doc, but that could be it too. But I loved. I'm a why person, right? I will ask those follow-up questions, and I always tell people, well, if you don't want to answer that, that's certainly your prerogative. But so I really enjoyed that whole process of interviewing. And then I happened to be reading somewhere that there was actually an association of personal historians. And there's an article in a magazine, and there's actually a woman that was sharing her career, and this is what she did. Only instead of writing short articles, she wrote entire books about people. She worked with people in sharing their life story. And I said, I've got to do that. So I looked up the Association of Personal Historians. I found out that there were 600 members worldwide, and this is what they did. Now, they might not, I do books, right, for people, but they might be video, they might be audio people,
Okay.
Whatever. So I said, I've got to do that. And I went to their convention in 2014. It was in Washington, D.C., and then I just started my business. Actually, it was 2013. And then I started my business in 2014, and, I just started telling people about what I want to do or what I want to do for them, actually, and it evolved from there, so.
You said you wrote for a weekly. Which one was that?
It was the Chautauqua Star.
Okay,
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, that was lots of fun, and it was all good news. It was a good news newspaper, so still had a lot of people that, like I said, from across the county. Just, it was fun, it was interesting, and I loved it.
So, when you said you had this love of writing, where did that come from? Was that something within your family, or
That's
teacher
funny.
turned you on to it?
Yes. A teacher gave me a prompt in 5th grade, and I think I talk about this on my website. And it was some type of a visual prompt. I don't know if it was a picture of a bird, and I don't know what it was. I don't even recall. But she said, write a story around it. And then she really said, that is very good, she told me. And then I kind of froze, and I thought, well, that's very good, but that doesn't mean I can repeat it, so maybe I'll rest on my laurels,
Check that one. I got that. I got a good story. Move on now.
That's right. So, and throughout high school, I loved, English was my, but more importantly, I think, is with this work is being an active listener, right? So what that is, you know, yes, I'll ask a question, but I'm left out of it. I'm kind of, you know, secondary to the whole process. I'm listening to what the person says, right? And that can be through not only their words, their body language, allowing them to just talk by and large. And that's hard for me because I like to talk too. So, you know, and that's a skill set in and of itself. But people who are personal historians have really come from all walks of life. Even some people who have been in counseling have done personal history. So a lot of people who have been writers, journalists also. But so that's how I got started, and it's you know, like I said, it's just been something I really and truly enjoy.
I want to share a story with you.
Okay.
'Cause we do that quite often here. So I was working on one of my college degrees, my administration degree at Fredonia, and Bob Heisberger was my prof, and you know, you're busy with life and you're doing papers and all that sort of thing, and I'm kind of an animated guy, so I'm sure he knew I was kind of like that. And but it's hard for me to sit quietly in class, you know, so I'm always doing my thing. Anyways, there I am, whatever, how old I was in my 40s. And he says, at the time, Mr. Hamels, that was before my new life as a doctor, and he says to me, Mr. Hamels, I'd like to see you out in the hall after class, or on break or something. That's never a good thing, Justin, right? Never a good thing. So I said, oh my God, what did I do now? So, I mean, I don't sweat, I was soaked. I mean, I don't generally do that, and I was just soaked. I was just so nervous. I thought, what have I done? So I go out in the hall, and he's got this big smile, and I thought, he's going to can me. He's going to kick me out of the program. I have no idea. And he looks me right in the eye and says, you have a gift. I'm going like, well, this has gotten better already.
Yeah, I'm liking this.
And
right?
I said, oh, and he says, you can really write. And I said, oh, and from that day forward, he encouraged me to get my PhD. And of course, that's writing like all the time. But I do a lot of writing also. And but anyways, but there's somebody that always encourages us, right? Whether it was your fifth grade teacher.
Yeah,
or
I believe
parent.
that. I believe that. And you know, and some people have said, and you know, your writing evolves too. Some people, you know, you're really verbose. You know, okay, you know, and that helps too, right? When people you know, criticize you in a constructive way, that helps too.
Yeah.
And there's different types of writing, and storytelling is its own type of writing. So I had to learn that as well.
Okay, so you're leaving the world of writing for a newspaper weekly, and you're going to do this personal historian approach. So you start a business. So how do you start a business like that? I mean, what do you do? I mean, do you put out an ad, or I mean, how do you
No.
how does that work?
That's a good question. So you do a variety of things. You start to speak to whoever you can about it, right? You start to get into as many groups as you can. Tell people, you know, it's networking, right? So anything you do that you love in the community, like you just start telling people. Like I was in Toastmasters for a while.
Oh, okay.
Started telling people about that. I was invited to Chautauqua, and I think it's their after 50, what do they call that, after 55 they have in the fall, to speak. Yeah, I don't know, I can't remember, but anyway, talk to people at Chautauqua, talk to people in other small clubs and organizations, started, you know, doing a blog and a website, collected an email list, so kept in contact with people.
That's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work, and it can be discouraging because at first you think, you know, it takes a while to get it going, but it does. It's slowly, you know, marketing's kind of a constant thing, you know, it's kind of like a snowball effect. And so you just have to keep at it, and then one person tells another person, and really word of mouth is the best way to advertise.
It sounds like you're in your 7th year. Does that sound about right? So 2014 and it's coming forward. So during that period of time, how many of these have you done so far? Do you have?
I'm going to say about a dozen, but I've also worked, like I said, I've worked with hospice on legacy cards, so I do a lot of that.
When you say legacy card, is that what
Right.
shows up? Oh, that's a product.
Right.
Okay.
That's a product. That's an example right there.
All right, let's talk about it right now if
Sure.
you want.
Sure. So originally, so I contacted Ron Sellers, who was
With
he was-
hospice?
he was CEO back then,
Okay.
and I knew him previously. So I said, "Hey, I have this idea." I said, I think it fits perfectly with the mission of your organization, and so we started talking about it, and he referred me to another staff member. And, I had to go through the whole thing. I had to introduce it to their social workers and do a presentation. And every year I have to get all the medical tests that are necessary before you go into people's homes and so forth. So basically, when I get a referral from somebody at hospice, like, people go into homes and into nursing homes, and people love to tell their story. So okay, this would be a good person for a legacy card. So they contact me, and then I usually get some information. Okay, what's this person talking about? What are they interested in? Should a family member be there, or can I just talk to the patient themselves? So I started doing that, and it's just fascinating. I've done dozens of those.
Okay, so let's focus in on this. I know that Justin kind of did a zoom in on it. So you said this was a family member,
Actually,
right?
this I did for my mom. This was
Okay.
for her 90th. I just lost my mic. That was for her 90th birthday party, or birthday celebration. And I guess I have to have
Take
this
your time, take your
right
time.
side up.
There we go.
Okay, so so what we did was I designed it, and it tells the little story of her life.
Mm-hmm.
And she did have, it's kind of an interesting background. She was a war bride. She met my father in
I see that
in
picture
Italy.
down in the corner there.
Yeah. So so she left. He met her, when he was he was stationed in Italy. He was from Buffalo, New York, and he was in a small village outside of Naples, Frediminore it was called.
I bet he was, what branch of the service was
Well,
he?
at that point he was in the Army, but previous to that he was in the Navy.
Oh,
And that's another story, because
There's another story.
I know little about his military career, and I wish I knew more.
reason being because you're talking about places where my dad was during World War II, so I thought that was interesting.
Oh, really?
You said Frediminore, right?
Well, no, it was actually the name of the village. My mother's village was Frediminore, which is near
Frediminore.
Naples.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
after the Germans left.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I tell a little bit of story about that, how they met, and what she was interested in.
What was her maiden name?
Izernia.
Wow.
Yeah. So anyway, she came to America, had a large family. I'm sixth of seventh, and this is amazing. But my younger sister was disabled, and she literally took care of her until she passed away at 92. So it was an amazing story, and it's funny too. I met my I went there went with my mom to Italy in 2007 and met first cousins that I had never seen before. And it's amazing because there's these people who look like you. You can't communicate with them too well, but so that was lots of fun.
Okay.
Anyway, that's the one I did for my mom. But again, I've done others for hospice.
Okay, let's hold. We have a phone call.
Okay, we have a phone call. Great.
Ta-ta-ta.
Okay, good.
Good morning, caller.
Well, good morning, Jack, and good morning, Pat.
Hi.
This is Linda Spalding. Pat, you do such very important work. You must get a lot of feeling of accomplishment and gratification from it.
I do. Especially when things are complete. With any large project that you complete, you have a sense of accomplishment, but then you have a sense of loss. It's like people who write any book. It's like after the project's over, it's like you go through a little bit of
I know that feeling.
yeah. So yes, I do. I would agree with what you said. I do have a sense of accomplishment, and I feel
and a sense of that you've done something really important. That you've done something good. You must definitely feel that way with your work.
I do. I mean, these are people's lives. These are their legacies. This is the things that, that might not get done if someone didn't assist them, I mean, sometimes there's a family historian, and that's fantastic, right?
Yes.
But we're at the whims of when they have time, if they're in town, if we can even see them. So I think that's when, you actually work with a personal historian, it's going to get done, right? It's like something you wanted to get done, and you can check it off your list. Or you can say, I want this for my parents, and it's something that people will buy for their parents. So yeah, it's fantastic, and I think it has a way of making people kind of connect the dots in their life, right?
Yes.
So it's life review, and in fact, I took a course, our certificate work, in reminiscence and life review, and we go over the whole psychology of it. It just brings things into focus. I mean, we can think about the events of our lives, but when we actually put them down on paper, there's a magic to it, and in many cases, it's very therapeutic for people.
People start.
Yes, it is.
You said you connect the dots, but all of a sudden you realize this is why I did what I did. This is when I look back now, that influenced me, and I hadn't even thought of that.
Right.
That was an event then that put my feet on a path where I am now.
Exactly.
And we don't think about it. We're too busy living, right, Lynn?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, and go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Pat.
No, I was going to say, and I'll take that even further. So when you know your ancestors, the path that they took, right? Their dreams, their hopes, wishes, why they did something, what their motivation was, and really what the challenges were, actually that'll reflect on you sometimes too. You'll say, oh, okay, I'm finding that too. That's happening, or I have that trait.
Why am I doing this?
Yeah, so it tells you something about yourself. And yeah, it may be positive and it may be negative, but it's self-awareness. And
It's interesting.
It can only be good.
Yep, my husband did a lot of genealogical research, and he did a lot on the family's genealogy, and he did it for friends too, and that's kind of connected and very interesting.
Yeah, this is really part of a bigger trend. You see so many people getting into genealogy. And I like to say that genealogy is kind of the skeleton of family history, right? You have the branches, you have names, dates, births.
But it doesn't tell the story.
No, it doesn't tell the story. The story is the soul, right? And I say the photographs are the flesh of your family history. I like to use
That's
that
a good one,
analogy.
yeah.
So yeah, it's like, well, what motivated them? Like for instance, I always thought my father was born in Buffalo. Well, I found out he was born in Detroit. What the heck were they doing in Detroit? What was going on there? And then I heard, well, his uncle worked for one of the, automotive companies.
Makes sense.
Okay. Now, but then again, I'm assuming, I'm making an assumption there. So, yeah, it's just amazing what, and no one's, people say, oh, no one wants to read about, no one cares. I've had a boring life, and you may not think your life is exciting, but I can assure you, if your kids even don't think your life is exciting, your grandkids or someone will.
Someone wants to know.
Plus, I always tell people it's part of the historical record. Look what we're going through now, right? So I was part of a pandemic journaling class. And so we meet online, there's different prompts, but think of how our life has changed during COVID, right? People years from now are going to be interested in first-person accounts of how we're dealing with this, right? So it's on many levels. It's just so valuable.
Yes, it is. It is. It's fascinating from a historical point. Well, I'm calling about the Senior Employment Program, and people should contact me if they are interested in senior employment. And the number for the Office for the Aging is 753-4471. And my direct line is 753-4856.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Lynn, thanks for calling.
Yeah, and Lynn, if I know this is kind of hard now, but if there's ever a time that there's an opportunity where I can speak to a group of seniors, I would love to do that.
Oh, I'm sure they would be. I'm sure they would be fascinated by it.
Okay,
yeah,
great.
I'm sure they would be very interested. I know I'm very interested in it. Well, have a great weekend.
Thanks.
Yeah, you too. Thank
Take
you.
care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
You know, Pat, you said something that made me smile, and I wrote, you saw me write it down, was I'm the town historian in Ripley. And since the pandemic started, I have a journal.
Very good. Mm-hmm.
My view, my opinions, but I write, and I look back, I think I started in April, and I don't remember, it was like 9,000 people across the country has now, contracted this horrible thing. And then I looked month, week, and so on, and how the numbers grew exponentially, and it was like, everybody thought this was going to be over by probably June, and here we are. And so, I mean, yeah, the historical record is really important. And I have a big old box next to my desk, and I just take all the newspapers. I don't take anything out of them except the ads, and I just throw them in there. Because when this is all done, then I'm going to put together a whole scrapbook. Because all of a sudden I realized history was right going by my eyes. And when the first couple, I actually cut out the first articles back in late March, I think it was, and there was a couple like, this and wear a mask, and it was like maybe buried in section 3 or wherever. And then within a week or two it was on the front page, and then it was like almost everything, sports and school and this and that and churches, and it was just consumed the newspaper, and and events were being canceled, and so anyways. That really was interesting. The other thing that kind of made me smile too was I remember very clearly I was probably only about maybe 9 or 10 years old, and I said to my dad, "So, where do we come from?" Mm-hmm. Hamels is not a particularly common name. Well, he gave me this. I think we're from Alsace-Lorraine, which isn't true, but he didn't know because his parents were gone, and they had split. A million years ago, and there was just no family record, so I had to rebuild the whole family tree.
Oh my
so
word.
I'm the family historian, so I'm really enjoying this discussion. So, but you've got a lot to talk about here, so let's talk about some of the other things you brought along. And
so again, there's I'll just go through real quickly. These are some of the
we got time.
Yeah, legacy cards. Again, this one focused on.
Why don't you show the camera here?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm showing you. Just a love story that between this woman and this man, and the talk about their life together. And this was 2 sides. Here's another one, which again, these are the cards, and these are great gifts for people. This was. Military history, and how this particular man's 2 of his sons became commercial pilots, so he had a real influence on his sons.
So you take the story, you get the photographs, you put it all together, and then you have like a publisher? I mean, who
I work with a
final
graphic designer.
Oh, okay.
And then I send, I keep a copy, I send one to the person, and they can, like I said, they could be framed, and and I let either in this case, these are, some of these are hospice, some of them aren't, but I let, obviously I let the person review things and make sure everything is accurate. This is my friend, George Clever, who is a part Lenape, Delaware Indian, and on one side, and the other side, he's German. So he's walked in 2 lives. He's had 2 lives, he always
What's the
says.
title of that one?
When Rocks Speak, because he's interested in petrographs and pictographs. And he's an artist, visual, verbal artist. He was a mathematics professor. So he talks about just as one aspect of his life, just as the art that he's interested in and his Native American background. And here's another one, again, a military, World War II military, someone who worked in aviation there. Just a person who just hit, I want to say, you've heard It's a Wonderful Life? she had it. She had a beautiful life.
We captured it. Yeah.
I captured it as best I could in a page and a half. So that's what I like to call these snapshots of a life.
So, all right. So these are called
Legacy
cards.
Or memory
so
cards.
do you make multiple copies of these and family members, or is it just one?
Many times they'll say, hey, I'd like, 10 copies for different family members. So sometimes, yes, that's the case. But it can be one or two or multiple.
So I know that there's no one answer to this, but from start to finish, we talking a couple weeks work on these things?
Probably, because it's 1 hour of, like I said, 1 hour of like visiting with the person, kind of asking questions.
Do you tape them or you write down?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. I have to, because I want to be in the moment and not worried about being writing. And then I go back, transcribe it, right? Then put it into story form, gather the pictures, right? Scan, do what I have to do there, and then send it to the designer. But again, I have the person proof it.
Now, do you have like special computer equipment to do this, or programs?
No, because I don't do the graphic design, right? Well, I want to do what I do well and not spend a lot of time. Actually, my son has done some of these. He is a graphic designer. When there was the Chautauqua Gateway graphics in town, I work with them a lot. But so those are just the cards. And I was telling you about, this is the story of my father-in-law when he went on the.
Why don't you hold that one up a little
Yeah.
bit?
So Fishing with Heroes. He tells the story. He was in his probably upper 80s, 88. World War II vet. He was on a cruiser, I believe. Was it a cruiser? No, where they take the
Aircraft carrier?
carrier. Thank you. He was on a carrier. You know when it's there, but it's not there.
I do this every Saturday morning. Jeff has to put the word in my ears because
Yeah.
I get stuck.
So cool background. I guess they do this for disabled vets, and he did receive the Purple Heart because he was a kamikaze pilot. Actually, crashed into their carrier.
What was the name of the carrier?
USS Essex.
Okay. My father-in-law was on something called the Madison, and he had a kamikaze hit their ship.
Right. Fortunately, it wasn't a straight-on hit.
This one was that I'm referring to.
Yeah. So, but many sailors passed. He was burned. But anyway, they had this program for disabled vets to go on fishing expeditions on Lake Erie, and he caught a great big fish. And he was a fisherman, so he absolutely loved that. So that's more of like a story card. But so I kind of do a soup to nuts here with, after I have a written narrative. Most people want it in some sort of book form. This one is especially nice because it comes with a slipcase.
Wow. So this is extensive. So what, are there pictures in that book?
Yes. There's I think I was telling you, there's over 100 pictures. Not all of them have these end pages with these designs, but I'll just thumb through here.
I mean, this is a massive work.
Yes, this is. This took 2 years.
Wow.
So yes, beautifully laid out, and the designer I work with was just a stickler on getting high-res photos and.
So this looks like maybe about 100 pages? Or how many?
I think it's over that because most of these, you'll see most books are this trim size, the 6x9. Let me see how many were in here. No, it's like a little bit over 200.
Wow, I didn't think it was that. So this is a person's life?
Yes, actually, this particular woman had passed. So what I did was I sat down with probably over 20 people. Her husband, her family. She had numerous friends, co-workers, things like that. And I put together the story of her life from when she was born to when she passed.
So in this particular case, who initiated the job, the work for you?
Well, I tell you what happened. This was actually a client of mine that I had a contact with for the legacy card and hospice, right? Actually, not a client at that point. So I did the legacy card, and then a couple weeks later, I said, I contacted the husband. I said, this is, talk to your girls. He had 2 daughters. I said, talk to your girls. Maybe they want to full history of their mom, you know, and put into a book, you know. It's she was just so beloved by so many people, and I just thought it would be a great fit. And he said, I got a call a few weeks later. He said, yeah, we want to do it. So.
Now, have you done many of these larger works?
Actually, this is one of the more extensive ones I have done, but I have done, this is another book that probably took, this one was actually for sale, and there was a lot of publicity locally. Miracle Marcia, again, a tribute to a woman who, she was a Bemis Point resident, and this was told by her husband, Kim Rambacher, about her 17-year struggle with cancer, and you know, again, just a woman just beloved by so many, and just the courage she showed and so forth. So these were two tributes, memorial tributes, but there's all kinds of different other examples. This is a small, just a small kind of project I did for another person who wanted to honor her mother and her mother's story. And as I was telling you, they called it A Bushel and a Peck because she used to sing that to her kids and her grandkids. And actually, I actually taped her singing, and I put it on a thumb drive, and I attached it to. So they'll have a audio of her singing. So that was really sweet.
Okay.
And sometimes I just edit too.
Okay, now hang on.
Okay.
Now, these books, I mean, I've had enough writers here on the show to know that this is not a small matter.
No, it's not.
This is a lot of work. And I'm sitting here like, wowza. So you've written the story of people's lives as told to you.
Right.
And then I understand the graphics. You got to send it out. But now, to take it from a legacy card to a bound book, where do you go for that?
Okay, they don't all start with legacy cards.
No, what I mean
Yeah.
is you have different services, and so I mean, who does your binding and all that?
Okay, it just depends on, a lot of times the graphic designer I work with has people that they, you know, that they prefer, and depending on the type of the project, right? So a binder who does this type of work might not be doing something that, you know, this was Kindle direct publishing, right? So they do small, and this will go on Amazon. This is something that's, you know, like I said, a smaller project. So you basically upload that to, I don't know, have you ever published with, it used to be CreateSpace.
I've heard of it.
Yeah.
I haven't.
Okay, so if you want to get your book on Amazon and you're a self-publisher, that's a inexpensive way to go. So, but so it just depends. You have your I work with different designers and different publishers depending on, you know, not everyone has, you know, I try to make it customized to what the person can afford, right? While still capturing the essence of their life and what they want. This man, he was very interesting. He wanted a postcard of the village a historic postcard of the village he grew up in. And I'm not sure if that was Lewiston, New York. I'm not sure, but
Okay.
that's what he wanted.
I see a trolley car in there, looks like.
Yeah. So I probably have it on here somewhere.
So you said he did the writing, but you did the editing?
He did all the writing. And you know, I would come back and I would read it, and some of it was handwritten. Things were scratched out, you know, and I'd say, okay, we need clarification here. We need follow-up here. You know, your grandkids aren't going to know what that means. We have to give some historical reference to what you're talking about. But really interesting stuff, how you grew up in the Niagara Falls area, you know, during when Niagara Falls was the big industrial place that it was, and just...
So he self-initiated this project. This is something he wanted to do and contacted you?
Yeah, well, what happened was I was actually in my hometown of Angola, and I was at a historical society event. There was an author who used to work for the Buffalo News that did a book on the Angola horror. I don't know if you've heard about that, but it was just a horrific train accident that happened, that actually changed the course of transportation safety. It was that bad.
Wow.
And another interesting point on that is that John D. Rockefeller was supposed to be on that train.
Wow.
And he missed it by 5 minutes. But anyway, where was I going with this? So I saw him at an event. It was this author talking about the book she had done the research, and we started talking. And he was, and I said, well, this is what I do, and he goes, oh yeah, I'm working on that. He says, little by little, my family's helping me, and so about 6 months later, I get a call from him. And he tells me, I'm ready to finish this. So anyway, it worked out good because he lived in Angola, and my family was from Angola, so I'd go out and visit him and visit my mom. So
Yeah.
so it was real nice. But I have done things. I've had interviews and work done from distances. If people are willing to do Skype and FaceTime and all that, I can do. I prefer to be in person because I think you get the best.
Yeah, and they're more relaxed, I think, when they're in person. When they're on Skyping, you're looking at it through this little tiny frame, really.
Yeah, and sometimes it's buffering or whatever. Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, so that's a sampling. People may know this guy, and everyone's given me permission to do this, but okay, Bill Frost, Bill's Gun and Saddle Shop, right? Cowboy. The guy is just the cool. They threw the mold away when they made him. So anyway, just a really cool guy. I don't know that he's still selling guns now, but we call him Chautauqua County's Cowboy because he was a trick.
Trick rider, you were showing me pictures.
Yeah, trick rider. Just had this really cool. He was a musician, all kinds of bands, just funny guy, lots of stories to tell, natural storyteller. So just really, really fun things.
That sounds fascinating. So you're capturing stuff. And
Yeah.
That's really important.
Yeah.
Too much of our lives just go whipping by, and like we said, you don't even realize that there's connection to everything. There really is. So without necessarily going into great detail, people that are watching right now say, well, this is wonderful, but is it expensive, and how do I get a hold of you and all that sort of thing?
Yeah.
So
You can visit my website, which is realLifeLegacies.com. That'll give you an idea about working with me. I try to, like I said, I try to make the project, what the person can afford, essentially, based on their budget, what their desire is, what they want to feature. So I talk to them, and I get ideas from them first.
Right.
And then I tell them what it's like to work with me. Some people don't understand the level of work that, and I wouldn't have either if I'm not,
That's right.
in that business, but the amount of editing that goes on, the amount of research, it's really a labor of love. So yeah, they can contact me through my website. They can sign up for my newsletter, or contact me through email, pat@realLifeLegacies.com. So either of those ways, I'd be happy to talk. And there's obviously there's no, no one's committed to anything. I just talk to them. If they're interested and they want to start, we start. If they just wanted more information, that's fine too. So
okay,
yeah.
We're down to 47 seconds. This has been a fun interview, and this is where I just sit back and listen. I mean, I just do
I
my
know.
active listening.
I'm sorry, you couldn't get a word in edgewise, right?
That makes my job easy.
Yeah.
So you got a half a minute. What would you like to tell folks about why they might want to do this?
This is your life. This is your legacy. People learn a lot. They accumulate wisdom, right? We think about our lives. Okay, what do we leave our kids, right? We leave our possessions. Okay, great. We leave land. But what we've learned throughout our life is as much of our legacy as all those other things, right? And why not pass that on?
Right.
Why not pass that on? There's things I want to share with and as you get older, you think this is more and more important. So think about sharing that history And people want to know. I always say someone from the future wants to
Absolutely.
hear
Find
from
out.
you. Don't
Okay.
disappoint them.
Okay.
So-
Folks, you've been watching Chautauqua Sunrise. My guest today has been Pat Pihl, and she's a memorist, and she writes legacies and all kinds of personal histories. So check it out if you want. And hope you have a nice weekend. It's going to be warm tomorrow, so enjoy maybe the last warm Sunday. And we're going to do it all again right here on Access Chautauqua, 1301 on Spectrum, and everywhere else in the world. So take care, and we'll see you next time. And remember, wear the mask.